Hey YouTube, how's it going? For today's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about MMOs, and I think MMOs are just flat out outdated, and I think there's a lot of shit in MMOs that's just bad and needs fixing, and it's only there because it's been a thing in other MMOs, because people who make MMOs, they look at WoW, and they're like, oh look, WoW did this thing, we should do that too, we should make 60 the level cap. Why? I don't know. Just what WoW did, and people like it, so why not use a round number like 100? Don't know, but they just decided 60 is the number. But the things I'm talking about are more innocuous, and unfortunately I'm playing New World, which is my favorite MMO, which doesn't have an example of this. But there's a lot of like janky shit and just bad things that MMOs get away with that they really shouldn't. The one, for example, is... Let me put a melee weapon on real quick. So when you have a melee weapon and you attack, you always move forward. You see that? At least in this game, you move forward. Always moving forward. Now, in games like World of Warcraft, you can attack and you could strafe left and right. You could strafe back and attack. You could strafe right. And I like that because it gives you customizability with dodging. Like, so say there's a mechanic on the ground right here, and you can attack and weave close or weave out as you're attacking, which is cool. But the actual visuals of it look super janky. You get like these legs moving and the attacks never look as powerful as a game like this going like this. You don't get that power when you get that split animation. And that's just a holdover from WoW. And that's why all of them do it, but I still think it looks terrible. It looks like really janky, and there's a lot of things you can do to avoid it. So something I made in a little prototype was, whenever you do this step forward to attack, I'll try to weave in the footage here. Whenever you step forward to attack, right when that step happens, you see how he steps forward? That could easily also be a step back, and you could hold S and step back while attacking. So say you want to hit something, but you don't want to move into it. That's what you would do. And so there's a lot of things you can do, or there's a lot of other aspects of the games that I think are also equally shitty. User interface, for one. If you look at Final Fantasy's UI, it's like you gave somebody a free set of Unity UI tools and said make us a UI. It's the most like rudimentary, like sophomore year CS engineer is doing a side project visual I've ever seen. And people just accept it because the rest of the game is fun. And I'm not sure why. There's a lot of aspects of the game, like a lot of the cheesy dialogue, cheesy storytelling, repetitive missions, the grind. Another thing I want to talk about is dailies. Dailies are garbage, man. They are absolute garbage. Because for the person who wants to play the game, who has a job, maybe they have a long job, they have long hours, say they have 12-hour days, they can only play for 2 hours a day. But on the weekends, they might have a 3-day weekend, or they might have long days, so they want to play 10, 12 hours on that day, and they want to feel like they can catch up in that time. But then you have this shit. You have Asmodeum, which is a rare resource, and it's on a 24-hour cooldown. So say your friends are all playing more than you while you're working. Alright, I'm gonna catch back up to the economy on the weekend. You can't. Asmodeum is not a very expensive, it's a pretty expensive item in this game, and and it's tied to a 24-hour cooldown. Well, what else can you do? You could do dungeons. Oh, sorry about that. Those are on a 1-week craft cooldown. You could do box runs in the elite zones. up here in Merkgard. Those are also on 24-hour cooldowns. Yeah, sorry about that. So what can you do? All the stuff besides mining mundane resources is tied behind 24-hour cooldowns. Why? Because World of Warcraft added them, because people log in to do their dailies, so the game developers said, we want to up our numbers of people consistently playing the game for multiple days rather than a set amount of time, and they said, let's add daily timers to everything. And that's just archaic, and it's terrible. Even this gift pile. Want to guess when this refreshes? You guessed it. 24 hours. It's just archaic. And it's purely game in the higher sense of the word, game driven. How do we game our players into playing more? Not playing more, playing for a longer period of time. And by that I mean play for multiple days rather than play for 10 hours in one day. We want you playing 3 hours across 3 days. And I think that's shitty. And a lot of people do. A lot of people say dailies kill MMOs. But all these MMOs do it. They all do it. And I don't know why. They all get away with it. But they get away with it because there's no alternative. Because no MMOs come in and done it better differently. They've all, like... And that's partially because MMOs take so many resources and everything to develop that you need a team, and then you need that sort of assured, guaranteed financial support. At least in this game, there's no monthly fee. If you buy it once, you play. Which is weird that they did the daily thing, because the daily thing leads itself towards a subscription model. If you want your people coming back every day to play the game for a couple hours, or an hour or two, dailies make a lot of sense, because it means they can't just binge the game, get end game, get these these 600 gear score legendaries, and then be done. You have to give them a reason to come back, so they subscribe more. But New World's different, yet it still does all the trash MMO stuff. Why? I don't know why. There's no reason. Boxes they were the only consistent way to up your gear score. But here's the thing. What makes it even worse in New World is gear score can only go up every so often. And guess what? That's on the timer now too. I think it's 18 hours, but it's just as bad as the 24-hour timer. It's literally just as bad. It is absolutely just as bad. I'll just wait out the cooldowns in the front. That should be good. So, why are they like this? Why do they do this? God damn it. Fell into that. Why don't they choose to go the alternate direction and, you know, forbid that system and do something that makes more sense? Towards, towards what they want to do, which is get people to play the game, obviously, as long as they can. But then make it fun. Give people a reason to keep playing, other than this is the only way I can make number go up. You know? Where'd my healer go? Was he dead? Seriously, where'd he go? I can't see him. So, like, what could they do? They could just... And, I mean, I guess while I'm on the topic of New World and playing it, why is it that for the longest time the best way to upgrade your gear score in the game was to not kill a single thing in the elite area, and instead to just loot the chest on the cooldown and then leave? Because they knew with the mob respawn times that you would get the case where people are just farming monsters with no cooldown, because you can't just not have monsters in the game. So they 100% realized people were going to only be killing monsters, getting loot, and then they decided, okay, well, we can't do that, so put the loot in the chests and then put them on the timer. So to give you that MMO experience of killing mobs, you still have that, but you don't have the potential to exploit, or not exploit, but just mundanely farm the same shit over and over. That's why they put dungeon cooldowns. That's why they made the dungeons so costly to get into. And so why don't they just put the rewards on the monsters and then have, like, say, a soft cap on how much of their actually, it's not, there shouldn't even be a soft cap. You should just reward people for playing the game. I don't know why it has to be like this. You have to limit people, because there's always going to be people that want to min-max, that are going to optimize your game and play it to its fullest extent. There's always going to be those people. So why even bother trying to optimize around them so hard? You know? Like, I mean, it's not a trivial problem to solve, obviously, right? Because if it were, people would have done it already. Damn, I couldn't find that kill. You know, if it were trivial, companies would have solved it already. So it's obviously not. But what can you do, really, to solve this problem of there's always going to be people that are going to put way more time into the game than others? New World had an okay system where it gives you more XP the more time you haven't been playing, and it gives you more luck the more time you haven't been playing. And that's good. That's a really good system. So you don't feel like, oh, I'm way behind because I haven't been no-lifing the game, essentially. So, what's some other systems, like for loot, for example? You could just apply that system to loot. That's pretty straightforward, I think. And then, how do you stop people from farming just killing enemies on repeat? You could fuck with the spawn timers, which they did. There were certain enemies that only spawn like once every fucking reset, but that was a bug. So, yeah, what what's a system you could add to an MMO that would help with that? Because I think it's absolutely silly. Like, the fact that the game feels like a chore. It doesn't feel fun anymore when there's dailies. It's like, I gotta log in, I gotta get the most out of my daily. If I don't use my cooldown, I'm missing out. Yeah. Okay, that did not go where I casted. So what can you do to avoid that? Oh, that guy's dead. I don't think you have to. I think if you just make a fun game with a lot of stuff to do, you don't have to limit people from getting to the end. Because I have 590 everything, I have endgame weapons, I'm still playing, because the game's fun. And there's a lot of people that aren't at that point, that are still playing, but there's a lot of people that are with me at that point, and still playing. So, why? Why is it like that? Why? One's Baron up in a minute. Why is the game like this? Why can't you just make things fun and allow people to progress at their own pace rather than progress when they say you can? And I'm gonna make another video about this, about like just game watchability, because I watch a lot of games on Twitch, and there's certain games that are just pure unwatchable, and I feel like MMOs are one of them that are just completely unwatchable. Who shot me? Oh, I don't have any buffs at all. I'm too zoomed out. Not what I usually play at. Yeah. So, why is it like this? Why? God, let me move, please. Oh god. The lag. I'm dead. There's no way I'm not dead. Okay. They somehow let me live. I think my healers kept me up. But, oh yeah, so as I was saying, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy to some extent are so horribly unwatchable that I don't know how, like, it has to be just people that, that's the only game they play, that's all they care about, and those are the people watching these games, because, man, at least in this game, you've got 3 abilities. The UI is pretty intrusive. I wish I could disable it, or disable more of it. Trying to stun the Dex guy so he can't steal Baron. Where are you going? Yeah, so let's take a look. Like, imagine if I only had ability icons, health, and maybe the progress of the game. I love that shit. I wish the health bar showed, like, look at this. I don't care about these names, man. Let me turn off names. Let me just see a health bar. And a little icon. What's going on here? I don't need my group's names, really. Like, click. Where, like, where's my group members? Are any of these people group members? Fuck, I tried to catch him going in. Uh-oh, I'm dead. Ah. Cover, please. Oh, you lucky fuck. Yeah, I don't know, like, again, like, that's another thing, MMOs, like, it's just more UI. The question for the developers isn't, how do we make the UI less intrusive? It's how do we do more? How do we put more shit on the screen? And, like, if you ever seen people that use mods in World of Warcraft, like, man, it's everywhere. Imagine this in the top left. I can't put my cursor on it. This. But one over here on the right. One over here down here. 10 more abilities in both rows. Like, there's no reason you ever need all those things. And if there is, and you want your game really that complex, there's got to be a better way to show it than... There just has to be a better way to show it than, just spamming the fucking world with... just icons upon icons upon icons. What is this guy running execute? No mana. I might kill. Who's shooting me? Oh, I thought I could get him in range. Yeah, so, I don't know. This is the part where I ask your opinion on it. Oh my god, he's so fast. He's dead as shit. What do you think? Like, I feel like there's so much MMOs could improve on, but they get away with it because of all the other addicting elements of the game that people just give it the pass. But there's so much room, and it's minimal things. Like, how hard is it to just give me an option that says enable, disable, disable nameplates? Like, they already have a thing that lets you limit the total number of nameplates. Where is it? Visuals? No, it's field of view, communication. I don't even know where it is. I know there is one. There's one that lets you limit the number of nameplates you see. Disability? Social, communications. Yeah. I can't even find it now. Oh, max nameplate. So why can't you just let me disable nameplates? I don't need to see every player's name. I really don't. Unless we're target calling names, which happens in wars. People target call names. In that case, I might want names. But maybe I want to disable ally names. Maybe I want to change the size of the text, because what you'll notice is the size of this text for this guy next to me is the same as that guy over there, and the same as that one over there, and the same as that one over there. Why? You should be able to scale the text size with how far they are away. Because when I'm shooting into a group of people... Oh, this guy's dead. Oh, no, he broke his son. Ooh, good roll. Oh, you bitch. I missed the double. What's going on here? Like, when I'm shooting into a large pack of enemies that are... Like, I don't know how far each of these people are. I just have to literally guess how far they are. And that is extremely silly. Oh, I almost one-shot him. Like, let's try to find a good clump. Alright. How far are each of these people? That's how you have to tell. The only way you could tell. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of the same size names. Oh, get fucked. Like, and if you watch some World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, you'll notice a lot of that same shit. I didn't detonate early enough. Oh, he got healed. So, why do people give them the pass? Why aren't these things like top priority to fix or implement? Gotta get in here before I fucking melt to death. Oh my god, that's a lot of Dex players. Oh, I'm dead. I don't know, like, there's a lot of shit I hate about MMOs. The aggro system's really garbage, especially in this game. As far as an RPG goes, the immersion is broken so often by things like respawn timers, by things like the aggro AI being very primitive, because that's to support the MMO environment. You know, like, there's a lot of shit I just really do not like about MMOs, but I'm playing one right now, obviously, so, like, there are things I do like, and there's things I don't. And, you know, that's my list of things that I don't like about the game. Or about, MMOs. And I could keep going, but I've gone a little bit long on this one so far. We probably end up winning this one. And yeah, let me know, what are some things that I didn't touch on that are problems with MMOs that really need a second look at? Like, people have just been letting this go because World of Warcraft did it and they're addicted to MMOs. So, that's just the way things are. I thought I had my F. Yoink, my kill. You know? Because I'm sure there's a lot of things that I haven't mentioned. How? I'm dead. Oh, I got the stagger. Oh, fuck. Yeah, what do you think? Again, this one's gonna be a little bit long, but, man, I really hate those things about MMOs. And they get the pass because, oh, it's an MMO, but that's not an excuse, like... My first UI I ever made in any game looks better than Final Fantasy's UI. With these, like, weird, these globe-like buttons that look like they're made for, like, a single-use mobile button, but they use them everywhere. There's text everywhere on the fucking screen, even here. And there's so much customizability you can add that, like, you have a team of engineers. You could just give somebody a task of accessibility, and it's all about customizing the UI, making things easier or harder, to easier or harder to see. If somebody has a problem with contrast, they could change that. There's a lot of shit. But it's gone on a bit far. Once again, thank you for coming and hanging out. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.